Alrighty, so this graph is pretty cool. So what this graph is this is one particle and this is another particle, and this is their distance along the x-axis over time. Simulated here, you can see them bouncing up and down, and this yellow line here is the distance between them. So you can see it starts out, they're bouncing around, they have a bit of a chaotic motion, and then they end up in this stable space. Bada boom, bada bing. Droplet on water. It generates these waves. And the cool thing about these droplets is every time they bounce, they're bouncing on a field of already generated waves from past bounces. So let's say that there's this wave from the past bounce. So we had a particle here, and it goes up, it hits here. Now, my program says is that there's a slope here. And I don't know, Asa, I'm pretty sure you've taken physics, right? The line of axis, line, whatever, of impact is there, perpendicular to the tangent at that point. And because this whole fluid bath is going up and down, that's why it's on the speaker, the force is in this direction. So we will call this force of the bath, and the force of the bath going up and down is imparted into the droplet, but this leg of it is dissipated. You can think of it as if it was up here, it would be pushed fully up with the bath, and if it's at a point like this, the bath is sliding past it and it's not going out at all. And so it's got to diminish the force bath, but we only care about the horizontal leg of it. So we basically calculate this diminished force, and then we calculate the x component of that force. So here, it would be imparted this direction, and then you could say maybe it bounces here and it goes back, and essentially it can bounce around on this wave until it finds an equilibrium point. Anyway, so every single bounce generates a wave like that. And so what this program does is it says, okay, I'm going to have that wave for the last, I'm usually using 20 or 30 bounces. And in addition to that, you're also getting all the bounces from other particles out there. And the combination of these creates the wave field that this thing's bouncing on. It creates the slopes that it's that are causing impacts certain amounts in x direction. So say in the beginning, our particles are moving randomly, right? So this one's going do, and then here maybe it goes up, and then, you know, it bounces da, and this one's going like that, and they're going all over the place. That's what all the squiggles are. At some point in either the troughs or the peaks of these, I'm assuming the troughs because the troughs are self-centering, right? If you hit here, it'll go in, and if you hit here, it'll go in. But if you're off balance on the top, you're screwed. So what they must be doing, and what they do in the real world too, so this is what happens in the real world, and I'm hoping what's happening in the program, I'm sure I could dive in and find it's a different weird quirk. But what they do is they end up in these holes, and they end up staying stable, so they keep bouncing up and down into these holes, and this distance d, which is our yellow line on those graphs, stays constant. And so over at the beginning, they'll bounce around depending on where I put them, but eventually they'll end up in these holes. Alright, so I've actually made a ton of progress on the program and figuring out those troughs, because there's multiple of them. But I am not going to put that in this video because the video is already like 3 minutes long, and I feel like these technical videos are very hard to watch. I'll give it like a few days. We will revisit this topic when I have something really cool and concrete to report. Please let me know if there's ways I can make these sciencey engineering videos more entertaining, if I can explain things better, if you just don't want to see them. I'm trying to figure out my voice for sharing ideas, and quite frankly, having 5 minutes of uninteractive video is very difficult to explain some things. Anyway, Asa, it's pretty late here and I'm going to go to bed soon. And I'll see ya on Thursday. Tomorrow's Thursday. You're seeing me on Thursday. And Asa, I'll see ya on Friday.